friends, and welcome to my channel where we mainly discuss thrillers on Thursdays. And today, like every other booktuber out there, I'm going to be showing my favorite books of 2018. I was also going to post a least favorite, but then I realized I don't really have any that I hated, which isn't because I love every book I pick up. It's really more because I've been just not finishing books if I haven't been enjoying them. But let me know what you guys think about that, because if I keep doing that, you know, there's never going to be a negative review on this channel. So if you guys do occasionally just want me to finish books that I don't enjoy, that's something I used to do in the past, it's just not something I've been doing this year, please let me know and I can happily do that. But as I said, today I'm going to go through my top 5 books. That's what I've been doing the past few years, and we're going to start at number 5 and get all the way up to my number 1 favorite. At number 5 is The Haunting of Hill House, both the book and the TV show. I read this prior to the TV show because that's what I normally like to do before a TV show or movie adaptation comes out, but I really could have read this afterwards because they have pretty much zero in common except for a few little Easter eggs and the title. This is some classic, really fun horror. It's not one of the most creepy or disturbing books I've ever read. That is for 2019, but I highly recommend listening to the audiobook of this because the interaction, the banter between the characters that go into Hill House is so much fun. I also should have said at the beginning that if I have full reviews of these books, I'm not going to get into too much detail on them, and I already have a review up of this, so if you're interested in hearing a little bit more, you can check that out up here. At number 4 is the only, I believe, yes, it's the only nonfiction book on my list, and that is Hunger by Roxane Gay. Like many others, I have heard about Roxane Gay a ton, but this is the first time I believe I've read anything at all by her. I went into this totally blind. I'd never read anything by her, never seen an interview, anything like that, and this book ripped me to my core. It is the story of her body and her dealing with bulimia, her discussing her rape that happened when she was a lot younger. It's a very difficult read, but I also think a very important book. There's definitely a reason people talk about Roxane Gay so much. I don't think that she's remotely overhyped in the least, and I will definitely be checking out some of her other books and writings in the future. At number 3, I'm going to talk about numbers 3 and 2 a little bit more just because these aren't ones I've discussed on my channel before because I read them pretty recently. But at number 3 is Severance by Ling Ma, and I am kind of surprised that I'm putting this on the list even above books like The Child Finder, The Winter People, other books like that I've already talked about on my channel that I did love so much. But this is one that I cannot stop thinking about, and that might be because I finished it very recently, but at the same time, I think, much like how I talked about Hunger, I think this is a very important book. I'm also surprised how much I loved this by the end of it, considering it took me a long time to finish. It took me about 2 weeks to get through, and it's not a long book. It's much more of a slow burn, and this is about the end of the world, but it's not a thriller and it's not really a horror. I would say it's much more introspective. It's much more of a drama. This takes place in present day, and I think it's called the Shen fever. I'm blanking on exactly what it's called, but it comes over from Asia, and it essentially causes people to continually do something over and over again until they die. So they're not zombies eating people or anything like that. It'd be, for example, if I just kept trying on an outfit over and over again, just zombie-like until I died. And there are a lot of parallels between that and how we go throughout our 9-to-5 jobs, because this vacillates back and forth between this young woman, she's a millennial living in New York City, her dealing with her job day in and day out in the past, and then in the future when Shen fever has taken over and she's with this group of people with this very terrible religious leader who is controlling this little group of survivors. And I cannot stop thinking about this. I don't think it's going to be for everybody just because it's a very quietly powerful book. It's not in your face. There's not a lot of shock value, but I still, like I said, just can't stop thinking about it, and I highly recommend it. At number 2 is All the Light We Cannot See. Now, I know that I am very late to the game on this book, probably like 4 years late. I kept seeing people booktube about this, bookstagram about it, tweet about it, and it just got to be too much. I was like, I get it, it's a good book, but this is making me not want to read it just because it was so hyped up. I thought there's no way that it could live up to that. But now I'm kicking myself for not having it picked this up sooner. It takes place in World War II. You have a German boy and a French girl. She's blind, and it's about how the war impacts both of them and their families. And it has been such a long time since I felt the need to stay up late reading a book because I was so worried about these two protagonists. The writing is also just beautiful, and there's just overall a reason so many people have loved this. I think if you enjoyed The Nightingale, which is also a World War II book, I think you would really enjoy this as well. Although I think All the Light We Cannot See is a little bit maybe less sappy than The Nightingale. I think the writing in this is a bit better than The Nightingale. So if you have been like me and you've been kind of holding off reading this because of the hype, please go ahead and check it out. And I'm gonna admit I am kind of cheating for number one because it's not a favorite book, it's just a new favorite author, because during 2018 I discovered one of my new favorite authors of all time, definitely up there on par with Gillian Flynn. And if you've been watching my videos throughout 2018, this is not going to be a surprise, but my all-time favorite book slash author of 2018 is Karin Slaughter. So I read 3 books by her this year. I read Pretty Girls, The Good Daughter, and Coptown. I would probably say Pretty Girls is my favorite, but it really got to the point where I read multiple of her books in a row that I was like, I need to stop so that I can review something different and experience something different, even though I had to force myself to stop. I would have happily read Karin Slaughter just all year long, but I just forced myself to stop. All of her books are a little bit similar in that they all have very strong female protagonists. They're all psychological thrillers generally. They're all pretty gory, and the writing is just really sharp and on point. It's just everything I love in a book all rolled into one. I've only read those 3 books by her, but she has a ton of books out. So if you have another one by her that's your favorite that you think I should read, please let me know. But those are my top 5 books of 2018. I'm really looking forward to 2019, and I'm sure some of you guys are if you've been watching some of my past couple videos and you're also gonna participate in my new book club. If you had a favorite read of 2018 that you think that I would enjoy and you'd like me to review, please let me know, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye.